Hi, welcome to my video on graphing a line by slope y-intercept form. Graphing a line by slope y-intercept form using a table of values is, well, let me probably before myself. There's two ways to graph a slope y-intercept form. One would be with a table of values, and the other one would be by plotting the y-intercept and then doing the slope. So let's do the first one first. Graphing a line by slope y-intercept form using a table of values, you need a set of x values. The set of x values I use is from 2 to -2 when the slope is an integer, and an integer is the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 -1, -2, -3, dot, 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 and so on. So if a slope has an integer, then we'll use the numbers from 2 to -2. So y equals mx plus b, the slope is 2, the y-intercept is 3. So if the slope is 2, 2 is an integer, so I will use the values of -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. B, the slope is a -3 and the y-intercept is -7. Since the slope is a -3, again I will use the -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 for the values of x. If the slope is a rational number, that is a fraction, I would use the values of x that are multiples of the denominator. Remember now, a rational number is a number a over b fractional form, where a and b belong to the integers, and we also know that b is not allowed to be equal to 0 in the denominator. So multiples of the denominator. So the denominator of this fraction, I'll just write down DOMM, the denominator of the fraction is 3. So when the slope is 1/3 with a denominator of 3 as fractional, I will use the values of x which are multiples of that denominator. So I'll take the -2 and I will use -6. 3 times -1 is -3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So I'll multiply the numbers I have up here by the denominator, multiples of 3. And we have a slope of a -3/4. The denominator of that fraction is 4. So I'll write numbers. I'll use the numbers which are multiples of 4. So 4 times -2 is -8. 4 times -1 is -4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. C, we have y equals mx plus b. The slope is 2/5. So the slope is 2/5. So the denominator of the fraction is 5. So I'm going to use multiples of 5. So all these numbers here are going to be multiplied by 5. So that's -10, -5, 0 times 5 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. And the last one, we have a slope of -7/2, and the denominator of that fraction is 2. So I will use multiples of 2. So take these numbers and multiply them all by 2. So that's -4, -2, 0, 2, 4. Multiplying by 2. Now the reason when we have rational numbers with these denominators, using those multiples, let me explain. If I use a 1/3 and I use multiples of 3, like -6, what happens is that 3 is a factor of 6, so you'll get nice numbers. So 3 and this -6 goes -2, so you pick up a nice number to graph. Or if you look at the 3/4 and you pick up, say, 4, so if you got a -3/4 and you use a 4, notice the 4's cancel and you get a nice -3. If you have 2/5 and you use a multiple of -10, So 2/5 with multiples of 5. Use -10, -5, 0, 5, or 10. Use a 10, negative or -10, -5, and 5. Notice 5 is a factor, so 5 cancels into 10, -2, so you pick up a -4. And we have a -7/2, so if I use multiples of 4 or multiples of 2, which is 4, 2, 0, -2, etc., the 2 cancels into the 4 twice, and I get a -14. So if you have a rational number with a denominator, use multiples of that denominator, and your numbers to graph coordinates will be good coordinates. Let's practice that. Graph a line by slope y-intercept form using a table of values. Okay, so the table of values, we're going to pick the numbers, as we said. X is 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. Notice I picked them in order. I'm starting from the highest to the lowest, and I have 0 in the middle, which is your y-intercept. If you let x equal 0, you notice that the y-intercept is -2. So I know that this line is going to pass through the y-intercept at -2. So if I use these numbers, so if I say right here, I have a 3x minus 2. X is 2, so I put a 2 in, I get a 6, and I end up with a 4 for the y value. If I go 3 and I put in the place of x, put a 1, so I put a 1 in, I get 3 times 1 is 3, minus 2 is 1, so I get a 1. If I put a 0 in, 3 bracket x minus 2, x is 0, so put a 0 in the place of x, so I get 3 times 0 minus 2, 0 minus 2 is -2. And if I put in a -1 in the place of x, I get -3 minus 2 is -5. And if I put in -2 in the place of x, I get -6 minus 2 is -8. So 0 gave me -2, -1 gave me -5, and a -8 came from the -2. So I take my time and showing you all the working. Now I plot all the points. X is 2, y is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. X is 1, y is 1. X is 0, y is -2. X is -1, y is -5. X is -2, you start at 0, 0, x is -2 here. -8 all the way down to here. So when I get them all done, I line them up, and we're using a table of values. But again, easy to do, and there's the line that is in slope y-intercept form is easy. You just plug these numbers in for the values of x, come up to y coordinates and plot the point, and that's the line. B, we have the line -1/3 x plus 4, and again I have 3 denominators, so I'm going to use multiples of 3. So that gives me a 6 and a 3 times 1 is 3, 0, -3, -6. Multiples of 3. Again, take these numbers right here, multiply them all by 3, and you'll get these numbers here. And you plug these numbers in. So -1/3 x plus 4. So x is 6. Put a 6 in. 3 into 6 goes 2. -2 plus 4 is 2. And again, we put -1/3, so we put a 3 in this time. So -1/3 times 3 plus 4. The 3 cancels, and I get -1 plus 4, and I get a 3. And we go again, put a 0 in this time. X is 0, so we put a 0 in. -1/3 times 0, 0 plus 4 is 4, so I get a 4. And -1/3, and you can see a pattern now. 2, 3, 4. I bet the next one will be a 5, and I bet the next one will be a 6, because I can see the pattern forming. That's the same as up here. I can see 4, 1. Notice I'm going down by 3 each time. See? 3, 3, 3, 3. Or start here and going up by 3. But let's get back to this one. So I have a -3 plus 4. So that's 3's cancel, negative 1. And that gives me 1 plus 4 gives me a 5. And a negative 1/3 bracket plus 4, I get a negative 6. So 3 into negative 6 is negative 2. I get a 2 plus 4 is 6. There's a 6. And you plot those points. X is 6, right there. Y is 2. X is 3. Start with 0, 0. X is 3. Y is 3. X is 0. Y is 4. X is negative 3. Y is 5. X is negative 3. Right there. Y is 5. Right there. Negative 6, 6. X is negative 6. Right there. Y is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. And we draw the line going through those points. So you can see there's the line, there's the points. So that's graphing with a table of values and plugging it in. So it's not very hard, just take your time, but pick the right numbers when you have a fraction. Pick the right numbers. And we have a practice. Graphing a line by slope by intercept form using a table of values. Remember, y equals mx plus b. The slope is negative 2. The y-intercept is 3. So, but we're using a table of values. So since it's an integer, we're going to use 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2 in order. And negative 2, and we got a 2 to go in here. That gives us negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. We're going to put negative 2, we're going to put a 1 in this time in the place of x. So negative 2 plus 3 is 1. And we're going to put, this time put a 0 in the place of x. We get 0 plus 3 is 3. And again, notice if you're doing it right, this is going up by 2. 2, 2. I bet the next one will be a 5 and the next one will be a 7. But let's check it. Negative 2, the x is negative 1 plus 3. 2 plus 3, negative times negative positive gives you a 5. Perfect. And once you see the pattern, x is negative 2, y is a 4 plus 3 gives you 7. Everything is great. So once you see a pattern and you're working it right, then everything is okay. And not only that, the y-intercept is 3. So if the y-intercept is 3, so when x is 0, I should have a 3. And the ordered pair is 2. X is 2, y is negative 1. X is 1, y is 1. X is 1, y is 1. X is 0, y is 3. X is negative 1, y is 5. X is negative 1, y is 5. And x is negative 2, y is 7. X is negative 2, y is 7. And notice the slope is negative, which also you can see that it's going, and I'll do after I draw the line. There's the line, but narrow it because it's a line if you wish. Notice the slope is, let's check. The slope is going up to left 1. It's a negative slope going up to the left. And number 2, we have a fraction. The denominator is 2. So I'll multiply all multiples of 2. So it's multiples of 2 are 4, 2, 0, negative 2, negative 4. Again, these are the original numbers I use. 2, 1, multiply all those by 2 and I get those. And I go 2/3 times 4 minus 1. So I'm putting 4 in. So 2/3 times 2 minus 1. 3 over 2. I said 2/3 is 3 over 2 times 0 minus 1. 3 over 2 times negative 2 minus 1. And 3 over 2 times negative 4 minus 1. And remember, I picked the numbers so the denominator will cancel out. 2 into 4 goes 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. 2 cancels into 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. And 3 over 2 times 0 is 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And again, 5, you can see it's going down by 3, going down by 3. I bet the next one is going down by 3 is negative 4. Down by 3 is negative 7, but let's check it. 2 goes into negative 2, negative 1, so it gives me negative 3, negative 1, negative 4. Perfect. And 2 goes into negative 4, negative 2, negative 6, minus 1, negative 7. Perfect. And you plot the points. X is 4. And again, the y-intercept is negative 1. So that means it's going to hit right here. So that means when x is 0, perfect, y is negative 1. But let's plot all the points. 4 is giving me a 5. 4, 5. 4, there's x is 4, y is 5, right there. X is 2, y is 2. X is 2, y is 2, there. X is 0, y is negative 1, right there. X is negative 2, y is negative 4, right there. X is negative 4, y is negative 7. And negative 7 is right there. And we draw the line going through all those points. And so we're graphing the slope y-intercept form by using the ordered pairs. And this is one of the first ways you graph a line. But normally the line is already solved and everything is great. So that's graphing the slope y-intercept form with a table of values. But when you know what the math is all about, you can also graph the slope y-intercept form. Slope y-intercept form, now remember, is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So we can graph the slope y-intercept form, which I have here, by A, plotting the y-intercept and then plotting the slope. So let's see. Y equals 4x minus 3. The slope is 4. And the y-intercept is negative 3. So the slope is 4 over 1. So let's plot the y-intercept of negative 3 first. So the y-axis is here. The y-intercept of negative 3 is right there. And the slope is 4 over 1, understood? So we will go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. Up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. And once we got 3 points lined up, we got a good line to go by with 3 points. 3 is better than 2 if you can do it. So here's the 3 points. And there's the line that has a y-intercept of negative 3 with a slope of rise 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have the graph. B, we have another line. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 2. The slope is y equals mx plus b. So m is the slope, which is negative 2/3. B is your y-intercept, which is 2. We plot the y-intercept first, which is 2. The y-axis is here. The y-intercept of 2 is right there. Remember, that's the point 0, 2, which is your y-intercept. So we will go down, says, negative 2 over 3, that's down 2, right 3. And down 2, right 3 again. We have the 3 points, and we draw this line that has the y-intercept of 2 with a slope of negative 2 over 3. And again, this is graphing it with the slope y-intercept. Because you have the slope y-intercept form, you can graph using the y-intercept, plot the y-intercept, and plot the slope. And I have a practice. So using the slope y-intercept, we're going to plot the y-intercept and then plot the slope, and you should have your line. So it's up. You practice these. And pause your video, find a bit of graph paper, and see if you can graph the line correctly. Here we go. Do one at a time. Then press play to see if you're right. The slope for this line, y equals negative, and that's understood to be a 1. I'll put a 1 there. Negative 1x plus 3. The slope is negative 1. And the y-intercept is 3. So I plot the y-intercept On the y-axis, 3. Done. Again, that's the point, 0, 3. And the slope of negative 1 means negative 1 over 1. If there's no fraction, the denominator, if you have an integer, the denominator can always be 1. So from this point of y-intercept of 3, we go down 1, right 1. Down, negative 1, down 1, right 1. So I'll go down 1, right 1. And down 1, I keep going. So I'll draw the line that passes through those points. And let's say that's it there. Done. So if you have a slope y-intercept form, then it's easy to plot the y-intercept and then plot the slope. The line comes out really good. Number 2, y equals, again, y equals, just to stress, y equals mx plus b, the slope y-intercept form. The slope is 5 over 2, number in front of it when it's solved for y, and the last number is your y-intercept of negative 4. And again, that's understood to be 0, negative 4 as a point, y-intercept. And note, when you let x equals 0, what happens when you let x equals 0? You have a y-intercept. So, by putting 0 in, y automatically becomes negative 4. So, that's the y-intercept. So, the y-intercept is negative 4, and there's the y-axis. Negative 4 on the y-axis is right there. So, that's the point 0, negative 4. And the slope is 2 over 5. So, that means up 5, right 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. And we have 3 points. Perfect. 2 points will do, but 3 points lines it up way better. And here we go. There's the line that has, this line has, again, a y-intercept of negative 4, and the slope is rise over run, so you're up to the right, positive slope. So it rises 5, runs 2. Perfect. And notice this is a negative slope because it goes up to the left. Positive slope goes up to the right. Perfect. So that's graphing the line who has an equation of slope y-intercept form 2 ways. You can use the table of values, or you can use the y-intercept and the slope. Faster way is use the y-intercept and the slope. If you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, hope you can click the button and be one of my subscribers. Click the notification bell if you are a subscriber. Write a comment if you wish. And visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. And you get 3 sections. One is on me, my degrees in teaching experience. Another one is on videos, which talks about the strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the content talks about the topics I have online and the videos on each of those topics. The black font is what's online right now, and the red font is the topics that I'll be developing in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.